This meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much for being broadcast live over Van Buren Township Channel 12, also on YouTube, and something else, I think. Secretary Montgomery, could you please call the roll? Trustee Frazier is excused, and so is Clerk Wright.
My pleasure. Treasurer Bud. Here. Trustee Martin. Here. Trustee Miller. Here. Trustee White.
Here.
Supervisor McNamara.
Here. Thank you very much. All right. Next item is a short executive summary, which we have a consent agenda today. Consent agendas were talked about yesterday, and it's pretty much everybody has agreed to it. We will be removing one item, which would be the prepaid list of February 27th, which will be moved to new item number 3. In addition, we're going to be approving an annual report that's given on the activities of the Planning Commission. Pretty dry stuff, basically tells about how many site plans that they approved and such like that. We also have 2 stormwater maintenance agreements, one with Subaru and one with US Signal. This is basically just a formality so they can get their bonds back because they built the thing right. And in the future, if it's ever doesn't work right, we will charge them if we have to come in and fix it. Our new business today are going to include 2 things. We have a bid where Davenport Brothers Construction won the bid, and we're going to be talking about that. And we also have another one for landscaping with Crooked Tree Nursery, who won the bid. We're going to be talking about that for landscaping for the Township Hall. That's it for today at all. Then of course, the prepaid list of February 27th will be added.
February 20.
Sir, what list is
February
being-
20th? Sorry, February 20th. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you what prepaid list was being removed.
Sorry, I
The
thought it
date.
was February 27th. It's February 20th.
Okay.
Okay. I'll find out later on what that's about. Okay, we'll move on to adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion for the approval of the adoption of the agenda?
Supervisor.
Trustee Martin?
I make a motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
All right, thank you. Trustee Miller? All right, hearing any, just to make sure that this, as I began this thing off, we stated that February 20th is going to be pulled out as a new item. So that is not in the, so there is a new agenda item there. And you understood that, correct?
I amend my motion
Yes?
to reflect what you just stated.
Support.
Okay, thank you. All right, hearing no discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is approval of the consent agenda.
Supervisor.
Trustee White.
I move that we approve the consent agenda, but remove item number 3, the prepaid list of February 20th, 2020,
that.
for further discussion.
We did that. Could you read the consent agenda as your approval?
Okay.
All of it. You need to move, you need to make a move, you need to call off the work study session minutes, the board meeting minutes, the
Okay.
prepaid list of February
Okay.
27th.
Approval of the consent agenda, item number 1, the work study session minutes of February 18th, 2020, the prepaid list of February 20, 2020, the prepaid list of February 27, 2020,
You skipped. You skipped board meeting minutes.
the voucher list of March 3, 2020, the approval of the 2019 Planning Commission Annual Report, the approval of Resolution 2020-07, and the Stormwater Maintenance Agreement with Subaru Research and Development Incorporated, and the approval of the Resolution 2020-06, and the Stormwater Maintenance Agreement with US Signal Properties Limited.
Add in board meeting minutes of February 18th, 2020, please. Okay. I have a motion. Can I have a second?
Support.
Trustee Miller? I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? Motion passes. We move on now to the consent, the public hearings, which we have none. Next one is correspondence, announcements, and presentations. We have some announcements. Do you want to start, Trustee Miller?
Sure. National Rosie the Riveter Day is Saturday, March 21st from 1 to 4. Original and tribute Rosies, along with suffragette reenactors, will be on hand to celebrate the spirit of Rosie and generations of strong women. Dressing up like a Rosie is strongly encouraged. Female empowerment group photo is at 2:30. Next, the Belleville Area Museum is hosting Mark Twain Came to Michigan with Alan Dave Eicher on March 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. Pizza, salad, and pop will be served at 5:30. This event is free for members and $5 for non-members.
Okay, Treasurer?
The September Day Senior Center will be hosting a drive-away Winter Blues Golf Clinic on Thursday at 1 o'clock, starting March the 5th, and it is a 4-week class that will provide information as well as hands-on training indoors and out. Sign up at the center. And then learn the basics and beyond about your iPhone. The September Day Senior Center is hosting the Van Buren Township iPhone Clinic on Thursday, April the 9th. Contact the Senior Center for more information. And then just to make you aware that the township offices will be closed on Tuesday, March 10th, due to the presidential primary election. The clerk's office will be open this Saturday, March 7th, from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. for absentee voting and voter registration. Thank you.
Thank you. Our youth recreation gymnasts, if you have a young gymnastic child that wants to start a 9-week session starting on March 7th, call up our Parks and Recreation. We also have Kids Kwando. Kids Kwando is extremely popular. It's a taekwondo for kids. The classes are April 2nd to June 4th, and they're at night, and they're inexpensive. They're about $45 a kid. Also, I want to make a notice that our planning director, Dan Power and his wife Tori welcome their new baby boy Hugo at 10 o'clock this morning. Mom and baby are doing fine, but we have no further information. They're tired. So, Trustee Martin.
March is reading month, and during the month of March, send us a pic of you enjoying a book in one of our awesome Van Buren Township parks for park, read, and upload. You may be featured on Van Buren Township's Facebook page.
Okay.
Secondly, hop on the loop at Quirk Park for an egg-mazing egg hunt at this year's Hoppin' Hullabaloo on Saturday, April 4th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We will have 3 egg hunts for different age categories. 10 a.m. would be toddler to 4 years old, 10:15 a.m. ages 5 to 9, and at 10:25 a.m. ages 10 to 13. Thank you.
Trustee White.
Parks and Recreation Department is hosting a Kids Crafty Saturday, March 14th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Children in grades K-5 will have the opportunity to make either fairy Play-Doh or a jar of dinosaur, $5 per child per craft. That's Saturday, March 14th, 10 to 11 in the Park and Recs Department. Kids Play-Doh, Crafty Saturday. Also, cheerleading will be held on Mondays, April 6th, May the 11th, from 5 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Ages 5 and up. Instructor Laura Abney, former Eastern Michigan University cheerleader, will teach students the basic fundamentals of cheerleading, including sidelines, cheers, jumps, and routines. Residents will cost $50, non-residents $65. That's Monday, April 6th, May the 11th, 5 to 5:45 p.m., ages 5 and up.
Okay, thank you very much. Next time is public comment for anything the public wants to comment on that was regarding unfinished or new business of the day. Nobody from the public. We're moving on. First item is unfinished business. We have none. New business. First item is to consider approval of selection of Davenport Brothers Construction in the amount of $132,000 for entry improvements to the Township Hall. Can I get a motion first?
Through the chair.
Treasurer Bud.
I make a motion, we approve the selection of Davenport Brothers Construction in the amount of $132,000 to be expensed from account number 101-265-970, which is capital outlay, for the entry improvements at Van Buren Township Hall.
Trustee White? Are you?
Support.
Are you supporting? Okay. Director Best?
Yes. Let's see here. One second. So today I'm in front of you today to discuss the selection of and recommendation of Davenport Brothers for the entry improvements at Township Hall. As part of the new work that is being done for the capital improvement projects on the township, Van Buren Township went out and accepted sealed bids for renovation services to the Township Hall. Put together renovate 21 posts that currently hold up metal roofs at each of the 4 entryways at Township Hall: Main, Seniors, Recreation, and Public Safety. The 2 firms that bid on the project, they were carefully considered, and Davenport Brothers was selected as the recommended bidder of this project with a bid of $132,000. These posts were designed by the township's interior designer as well as architect Wade Hopp. These posts have a traditional look with a stone base which matches the new electronic message sign and the new stonework in Township Hall. These posts will be installed in concert with Township Hall landscaping project to limit the amount of time that the Township Hall exterior is under construction. The expense of this entryway improvements will be coming out of the capital outlay budget. If approved by the board, the budget will be adjusted, the contract will be awarded to Davenport Brothers Construction, and the project will begin. It is anticipated that by June of 2020, the construction will be completed. Yesterday, we talked about what these things would look like. And since the design of these are unique, I plugged in the TV, so you guys can turn on the TV in the cable room. It'd be great. And they're not doing it.
It was stone, wasn't it?
There we go. So this is really the closest thing I could find to what these posts will look like. Mind you, there's a little bit of differences. There'll be a stone cap at the bottom and at the top, but that's the Azek white material that goes to the ceiling and down. This project also includes the painting of the undersides of all the roofs under the Township Hall. So all that area that's under the blue metal roofs will be cleaned and painted.
All right, is there any questions? This is basically, we're wrapping up the capital improvement programs that we've done to this building. We've done, pretty much this in the landscape finishes it up for the major sections of it. Does anybody have any questions on this? What were the other 2 bids? There was another bid. Davenport was at 133, and what was the other bid at?
Cross renovations came in at $179,777.
So it was a considerable difference. We did call in, as we always do. I'm saying this mostly for the audience. As we always do, we did call in the contractors to make sure that their bids were in line with what we were thinking, what we were doing, because there was a discrepancy of that nature, but we do it anyway, always. And there's a firm understanding of exactly what we want done and how we want it done. All right, hearing no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed?
I oppose. No, I vote no.
You vote no?
I vote no.
Okay. All right, next item.
No, got a roll call.
Oh, sorry, roll call. Secretary?
Treasurer Bud? Supervisor McNamara?
Yes?
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee White?
No.
And Trustee Miller?
No.
So how does that work?
You just voted yes.
Guys,
I'm allowed
Does
to
it, no,
change
John,
my
do you need 4? Do you just need majority of sitting?
no, you need a majority of the members of the board. We
we
need
have a-
4.
We have a quorum.
Yep.
A 4.
Didn't pass.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Next item. Next item. Crooked, excuse me, I'm sorry. Consider approval of the selection of Crooked Tree Nursery in the amount of $133,000 to be expressed for landscaping improvements at Township Hall. Can I get a motion for approval?
Supervisor.
Trustee White.
New business number 1, to consider approval of the selection of Crooked Tree Nursery in the amount of $133,092.15 to be expensed from account number 101-265-970-000, capital outlay for landscaping improvements at Township Hall.
Okay. Is there support?
Support.
Okay, based upon our rules, since the person that, according to Roger's rules, has approved it, although you seconded the last one and voted against it, do you wish to speak on this issue first, Trustee White?
I don't, and I don't know what Trustees Miller's response is about, but I can tell you that I think this is way too much money for what we're receiving, and I also think it for the Crooked Tree Nursery in the amount of $133,000, and they are also out of town for whatever purpose. I
I'm
think
confused. You moved this forward. You supported the last one, now you're moving this one forward, and you're talking against it.
Yes. That's okay. I read the motion.
Okay.
Just because I read the motion doesn't mean I have to support it.
Trustee Martin?
No, I'm saying he can do, he's well within his right.
Pardon me?
He's well within his right.
Okay.
You can do that.
All right, does anybody else want to make comment? Okay, we have a motion for approval by Trustee White, supported by Treasurer Bud. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me? No.
Okay, you?
No?
Okay, a roll call vote, please.
Supervisor McNamara? Yes. Treasurer Bud? Yes. Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee White?
No.
Trustee Frazier?
Okay. Moving on, next item is the,
Trustee Miller, excuse me.
No.
okay, motion fails. Next item is the, what is the next item? Is the, which one down, which one exactly did you move over?
It's of February 20.
List of February 20th. All right, can I get a motion for approval of the prepaid list of February 20th? I'll make it.
I'll make the motion for the prepaid list of February 20th.
Okay. Support? Martin? Okay. Go ahead, Mr. White.
Employer holiday lunch from donations in the amount of $96.43, taken from account number 101-101-956-000, and I believe this is from the trustees account.
Okay.
And here's, I'm sorry, from the board account, board other, actually. And I researched this and came up with several issues why this should not be approved and why, it's my opinion, that it is not legal. And it's under the Michigan Penal Code, Act 328 of 1931, Section 750.490. And 75490 is the safekeeping of public monies.
This is not public money.
Let-
This
let
money
me-
was raised individually by private donors.
Let me read it first, and then we will discuss it. Safekeeping of public monies. All monies which shall come into the hand of any officer of the state, any officers of any county or any township, school district, highway district, city or village, or of any other municipal or public corporation within the state pursuant to the provision of the law authorizing such officer to receive the same shall be denominated as public money within the meaning of this section. It shall be the duty of every officer charged with receiving, keeping, or disbursing of public monies to keep the same separate and apart from his own money, and he or she shall not commingle the same with his own money, nor with the money of any other person, firm, or corporation. No such officer shall, under any pretext, use or allow to be used any such monies for any purpose other than in accordance with the provisions of the law, nor shall he or she use the same for his own private use, nor loan the money to any person, firm, or corporation without legal authority to do so. In all cases where public monies are authorized to be deposited in any bank or to be loaned to any individual, firm, or corporation for interest, the interest accruing shall be public monies, shall belong to and constitute a general fund of the state, county, or other public or municipal corporation, as the case may be. In no case shall any officer, directly or indirectly, receive any pecuniary or valuable consideration as to an inducement for the deposit of any public monies with any particular bank, person, firm, or corporation. The provision of this section shall apply to all deputies of such officers or officers, and to all clerks, agents, and servants of such office or officers. Any officer who shall willfully or corruptly draw or issue any warrant, order, or certificate for the payment of money in excess of the amount authorized by law, or for a purpose not authorized by law, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor punishable or provided in this section. Any person who shall violate any of the provisions of this section shall be guilty of a misdemeanor punishable by imprisonment in a state prison not more than 2 years, or by a fine of not more than $1,000, provided that nothing in this section contains shall prevent a prosecution for embezzlement in cases where the facts warrant the same. And I'm not saying this is embezzlement or anything like this. I'm saying strictly that private donations, when they are put into the funds of the township under an account number in the township, become public money. You're commingling with the public money.
It says,
That's what it says.
talks about your own money. It doesn't talk about people donating to funds. You know, you basically stopped us from paying for seniors, for volunteers, for employee Christmas parties, for senior Christmas parties, for volunteer luncheons. We went out, hat in hand, we found private money to pay for this. We put that money into the bank, and now we actually can have Christmas parties and senior parties and volunteer parties, no thanks to you. But we found a way around it by doing it legally.
And that
This
violates
has
the law.
nothing to do with any of that.
You cannot commingle any donations with public money.
Can't donate
Order,
all
we're
with
having
my
a debate
own money.
here.
It says that my own money.
Chair,
Yes, sir. Trustee
I'm
Martin.
going to address this to Treasurer Bud. Aren't public funds meant to be taxes, water bill payments, fees?
No, they
Of
go
the
to
like-
their own, the money is taken in, it goes into its own account. When it's expensed, it goes out of that account. The money that is put in there has been designated by the people that donated it for what it was to be used for. That's why it goes. Every member of this board donated and wrote a check to Van Buren Township to cover those expenses. They went into that account and they were expensed out of that account. They were not commingled with other funds.
No, I understand that, Treasurer, but I'm saying, but the statute is saying public monies and the use of public monies, and I'm saying the definition of public monies would be taxes, fees, water payments. So
Correct.
this is, what we did was not public money. This was not.
That's correct.
This was not public money. This was not money collected by the township for services rendered or whatever. So that would be public money, and this is not public money, Trustee White.
Through the chair.
Trustee Miller?
Treasurer Bud, were you not given an attorney opinion, and what was the opinion of the attorney on this matter? This is not the first time we've had this discussion.
No, we've had it a couple different times, and the attorney's opinion has been the same, that there's nothing illegal about taking the money and putting it as it is dedicated for, as a donation from whoever is donating it, then the expenses come out of that. And as you know, at the last meeting, I had that opinion, I read it to you. I also showed you the accounting of the procedures, and there was even money left over to be used again this year, but they were not commingled. They're not, I didn't take water payments, I didn't take tax payments, I didn't take any building permit money or anything else and commingle it with this account. It is only the money that was put in there as the designated donation said.
So if I can ask you further, so if Clerk Wright took in donations for coats, the same would apply here?
Correct.
Okay.
He takes in the money, we have an account that says coats, the money goes in there from whoever donates. When he buys those coats, that money comes out of there. It's the same principle.
Treasurer, you also had a list of every single payment and every dollar that you had taken in.
Correct.
Had you not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll add that this is the third year in a row that Trustee White has brought this forward, and so the third year in a row, somebody went out and got a legal opinion. Getting tired of writing legal opinions on the same things.
Well,
Mr.
then
White?
I encourage Trustee White to file a letter with the Attorney General asking her opinion. They'll write back, or there might already be an opinion on the books.
It shall be the duty of every officer charged with the receiving, keeping, or dispersing of public monies to keep the same separate and apart from his own money,
His own money.
and shall not commingle the same with his own money, nor with the money of any other person, firm, or corporation.
Thank you, you just
To the
proved my
chair,
point.
it is not public money because it was donated. It is not public money like taxes, building permits. It is not public money.
I understand taxes and building permits and everything else, Treasurer
It's
Bud,
public money. That is not public money, what is just coming in
correct,
for those
okay.
donations.
but donations or with the money from any other person, firm, or corporation shall not be commingled with any fund in the township.
They're not commingled with another fund. They're put in their own fund. They have their
This-
own fund number. They are not commingled.
Wait just a minute, this is the board other number that this was taken out of, 100-101-956-000. That is board other,
There,
did set up
there-
those accounts
there is an,
board other.
there's another account that's been set up that's
Okay.
004. They have not been commingled.
And if it was commingled, it wouldn't matter, because this is expressly talks about your own money. It doesn't talk about money that's being used, that's being run through here for senior Christmas parties. It's talking about mixing it with your own personal bank account, with your own personal money. This has nothing to do with what we do here.
It's as a first grader should understand this,
Oh,
McNamara.
let's call for the point.
You said,
I'm calling
said-
for point of order. This is turning into a debate.
I'd like to call the question. Can I get a second on call the question?
I absolutely support that.
Okay, the vote is on call the question. It's a roll call vote. It's not debatable. Secretary?
Supervisor McNamara.
Yes.
Treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Trustee Miller. Yes. Trustee Martin. Yes. Trustee White.
no.
Okay, motion passes. We are calling the question. It is not debatable. The question is called for the prepaid list of February 27th. 27th or 20th? 20th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call?
Treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Supervisor McNamara.
Yes.
Trustee Miller. Trustee Martin. Yes. Trustee White.
No.
Okay, motion passes. Next item is public comment for non-agenda items. Would you like to say something? It's time for when anybody in the audience wants to speak on any subject they want.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, there we go. Rick Williams, 44521 Tyler Road, 44429 Tyler Road. I addressed the board a few weeks back. Maybe Supervisor, you were not here. Maybe you were updated on this
But I
situation.
did hear you were here, and I actually sponsored getting that report done by our engineering firm from our discussion we had a few months before that, so that,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay, just coming in, doing a follow-up, find out, I did review the report. Just like to see if the board was gonna take any stance on it.
We did. We sent you the report. It
I got the
basically s-
report, yeah, but I didn't know if the
Oh, but
board,
it's-
the township was
Okay,
gonna do anything about it.
I see so many reports, but didn't that report say that that's his ditch and he's welcome to clean it out if he wants?
Well, that the ditch, I'm not allowed to clean out the ditch. That's Wayne County's responsibility. They're saying any
Could you come out? Because I'm sorry, I see so many reports. I thought that for sure that was what it was.
Yet.
So, back in July of 2019, the Department of Public Services requested that Fishbeck, Thompson and Carr and Huber evaluate the ditch that runs northeast from Myers Pond Outlet to the Wayne County Road ditch along Tyler Road. This ditch allows stormwater runoff from Myers Drainage Basin to flow into the county road ditch along Tyler, which runs east and drains into the McClowery Drain. And I'm going to use the visualizer here to describe this. So as you can see, the red line, as it leaves Myers Ditch behind Myers, it goes onto private property, the ditch that is that red line, until it gets all the way to Tyler Road, where it straightens out at Tyler Road, and I'll point to it for you with my pen. Here is privately owned ditch, not a county drain, not
To that point, it's privately owned ditch.
point, from the Myers property, that point is privately owned ditch.
And they clean that out if they want.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the running, Van Buren Township was requested Fishbeck to investigate complaints of flooding between the properties, one owned by one or two of the, I can't remember if both of these properties are owned by Mr. Williams, who is here today. Fishbeck performed a historical record search and physical survey of the ditch surrounding the areas. The record search determined that the ditch was an old private farm ditch that crosses several private properties. It is not a county drain. Fishbeck observed that the ditch has not been properly maintained, with 2 to 5 feet tall phragmites, the common reed cane, and an extensive root system, invasive nature, and high density of phragmites obstructs the flow in this farm ditch, causing the ditch to back up, overflowing its banks and flood the properties. There are a couple pictures of what that looks like. I'll give you an example. And this is all in the report that we provided.
Report basically said that he could clean out that ditch and it would be solved. Tell me what the solution is.
So the solution, there's two pieces. So the privately owned ditch has not been maintained. And so what happens is when you have rainwater that comes in, that water slows down in this red ditch and backs up and goes over its banks, which then floods the adjacent properties here.
And they
here.
can clean that out and fix that.
If this ditch is cleaned out, the water will have and it's at a proper depth, it will go out to here. Now here's where the second piece comes into play, and this is the one that Mr. Williams has been trying to get the county to take care of for a long time. And they did some work last year, I think. So last year, this area was, and this section here is the road ditch along Tyler Road, which is under the jurisdiction of Wayne County Roads up until this point here. Wayne County would need to clean this ditch out, which they did some of it. But the problem is, even if Mr. Williams gets all his water, and his neighbors get the ditch clean and clear to this point, because the McClowery Drain is in disrepair and has not been cleaned out by the Wayne County Drain Office for years, the water during a rain event backs up. So there's two pieces of the puzzle. One, getting some relief to this drainage to get the drain cleared, this ditch cleared, and two, to get the ultimate outlet for the ditch, which is the McClowery Drain, getting that water to be able to continue to flow freely.
How far does the McClowery Drain have to be cleaned?
Well, really, the whole thing needs to be cleaned. Back in 2014, the county drain office was petitioned by residents of Romulus and Van Buren to do a drain petition cleanout. And unfortunately, that drain petition was found not necessary by the drainage board. A lot of residents of Romulus went in favor of the drainage petition to be cleaned out. A lot of residents of Van Buren, unfortunately, were not in favor of it because a lot of the flooding that was occurring there at the time was in Romulus and not in Van Buren. So the township engineer recommends that the cleaning out of the drainage ditch along the back properties will alleviate the localized flooding, and a potential drain petition from the county to clean the McClowry drain will assist in not only flooding along this section, but the McClowry drain is also backs up along the intersection at Ecorse and Haggerty Road. That's why when we have a rain event, the McClowry drain is the one that runs in front of Vistion Village on the other side of the freeway. And on the west side of the freeway, it backs up water and causes flooding there. So ultimately, the outlet needs to be taken care of by the county. And that would help get water out. But without the localized obstructions in the privately owned ditch being taken care of, that water would still back up. So.
Through the chair? Yes, Trustee Miller. So let me get this straight. The main drain is, what, a farm drain? Mm-hmm. It was a farm drain at one point. So who owns that main drain? The residents, correct? Or is it the township?
The one in the backyards of the residents.
The red line
yeah.
actually is owned by those property owners.
So the property, okay, so McCleary, though, is owned by the county. So if one isn't cleaned, it isn't going to help the other part of the drain, correct? In order to make this flow smoothly.
Correct.
So what can we do as a township for the McCleary drain, since, I'm sorry, Supervisor, you have context
Talked
with.
about it yesterday.
So, okay, so why don't you tell him what we can do, if anything? Or else he's just gonna keep coming back
Man,
and asking
quite
for
frankly,
answers.
is that we probably try and convince what I would recommend, quite frankly, is that we buy a grade out for a good month or two and re-ditch a lot of these roads on Van Buren's time. It's going to cost a little bit of money, but we're not getting anything out of the county. That would be what I probably would like to do, help you re-ditch what you've got. As far as the McClory drain's concerned, that's a 3 or 4 year process, and the county is not approving any major drain programs. That's probably $1 million drain program.
Larry?
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not gonna approve it. They've gone tight on everything. I don't know if they have bonding problems or credit problems or what, but they're not approving anything. We had this discussion, by the way, last night. You weren't here. And that we would like to somehow figure out a way to get away from Wayne County Drain.
Mr. Williams, have you met with township officials about this situation?
Not officials. I spoke with Mr. Best numerous occasions on this issue.
We approved engineering of his this last summer, which is when we did it, right? Because we were trying to figure out how to fix this problem. We thought it was Myers causing the problem, and it wasn't. We were hoping it was Myers causing the problem. They've
Well,
got
there's
pockets.
there's a whole bunch of issues. If the water's not flowing down McCleary Drain, that's going to stagnate the water on my place, allowing the weeds to grow. There was never really an issue with that before. Like I said, 23 years ago when I moved here, I was able to drive back there in a car. That's how dry it was. And then within the last 10 years, I haven't even been able to access the back part of my property. So, and then with the added development going on right now, with the Speedway running their water across the road down to the south of Speedway, down Tyler Road, that water comes to my property too. So if McCleary can't handle my water coming off my property, how's it supposed to handle Speedway's water as well? It's just, it's not looking good. And then you got Crossroads North on Ecorse Road. Now you're adding all that water. That water's got to go somewhere. That's going to go straight to McCleary Drain where Mr. Best just said. There's an issue there at Haggerty and Ecorse where that water can't flow. So it's
They have retention ponds to try and keep it out of the system, quite frankly. There'll be less water flowing by that system.
well, it's not working at that intersection right now.
No, but they haven't built their retention ponds yet either.
No, I meant there's already a distribution center on the south side, so I mean,
Tell you that we really need you to fill out a drain application to get this thing started again, but that's a 2-3 year process.
right.
But I mean, I mean, like I said, that's so expensive that there's nobody that could come to help you except for the drain commission.
Yeah, I mean, this issue with Myers Pond's already been litigated in court, with a resident on Tyler Road. So, I don't wanna go down that avenue, but, it may just go that way, whether it's through the township or the county. But it's been decided, in favor of the resident, so.
I don't know anything about that. Neither does my director. I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, I don't have the case number with me right now, but, that can all be talked about at a future date.
It's not common for us to spend the money on engineering to work on a local residence issue like that. But we did. We spent a lot of money trying to figure out an answer to your problem.
yes.
We're not giving up on you, but I didn't realize that you're talking about the drain that extends all the way into Romulus.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not in our financial capability.
Yeah, I mean, and then they posted as a red line that went through there. Now, some of that water is, I mean, if it's a drain, it should be, wouldn't a drain, what's an average depth of a drain? A farm drain, is it
Some of them are 6 inches, some of them are 6 feet.
a farm drain? It should have been, every farm drain I've seen is like 5 feet deep or something like that. So I can walk across that drain in knee boots. So it's not very deep at all. So it's just, I don't know if I think there was no drain there to begin with. I think it's just Myers water running out and water's finding its own path.
Want to stick around tonight? We can talk about what we can and can't do.
Right.
All right. I want to help you. I know you've had this problem for years.
Okay, doke. Yep, appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Does anybody else wish to speak? No? Okay. Does anybody on the board want to make any comments? Board comments?
I have one.
Trustee Miller?
Sherry Fraser could not attend the meeting tonight because of illness, and I just want to thank not only Sherry, but all board members who are sick. Please stay home.
Okay. Yeah, we're living in trying times in that. Okay, hearing none, I'll call for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion, I have support. All in favor? We are adjourned.